Hello. And my laundry.
Greg, for a while, it looked like you were upside down.
Me?
No, Greg.
Oh,
I know, I'm on my phone and it's just not working right.
That's okay.
No. And now I have a bright light shining over my head here.
Yeah.
Did anyone see my Facebook post about how Zoom meetings are like a seance?
yeah.
Yes.
Emily, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We can't hear you. Give us a sign. Anyhow, now that everyone's here, Sharon, you want to get us started?
Certainly. Thank you. I'm sorry that took so long. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Okay. Karen,
Here.
Carol.
Here.
Jill Meyer, Greg,
Here.
Pam,
Here.
and Sharon.
Here.
Okay, we're all here.
Joe Meyer,
Okay.
you're muted.
Yeah.
There
Did
she
she?
is.
There.
Okay, now I'm back on. Sorry. It's like I have my headphones, I can mute them, but then it's like I can't unmute it. So I apologize.
No problem. I'm assuming no public comment. Approval of minutes of September 10th, 2020. Any comments, questions, corrections? If not, a motion is in order.
I so move.
Second,
Carol, who seconded?
Jill Meyer.
Jill. Okay.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution of appreciation to retired library clerk Teresa Farr.
So since Teresa's part-time, the city doesn't actually do a retirement resolution. So we've always done one ourselves. So the retirement resolution is in the board packet. Can read it out loud if we want to have it officially entered into the minutes. Otherwise, once it gets approved, then I will print a copy off. Sharon, I'll try to make arrangements with you to have it get it signed.
Sure.
And I will send it to a copy to Teresa, suitable for framing.
Very good. Did you want me to read it or just get an approval?
I think we can probably just get an approval.
Okay. I'll move to approve that resolution.
Okay.
Pam will second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a motion to approve September 2020 vendor summary in the amount of $55,762.56. Any questions, comments? If not, a motion is in order.
Karen will move.
Okay.
Carol second.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a motion to approve the library hiring policy.
So back in 2013, we wrote a hiring procedure, which is what we've been following. However, in 2017, the city approved an updated hiring policy. And since that hiring policy has everything going through the city administrator and the personnel committee, and we don't go through those, I just rewrote the city's hiring policy and changed out personnel committee for library board and library director where it said city administrator. Otherwise, it's basically the same policy as what the city hall as what the rest of the city has.
Okay.
And then the other thing that just to make hiring go faster, it's what was in the current procedure or process, but it says that we'll determine a way to alert the library board. So what we've been doing so far, just as reminders, what I've been doing so far is just putting it in the monthly report. As long as it's a budgeted position, I'm just putting in when someone leaves or when someone is hired. So as long as everyone's okay with that, that seems to be the most efficient way. to move forward.
On bullet point 4, library management and the human resources will work together, prepare the job. Should that say to prepare
Yes,
the job
yes, it should.
advertisement? That's all I have. Anybody else, anything? Excuse me, if not, a motion is in order.
Anybody?
This is Jill Meyer. I so move.
Pam will second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a motion to approve the revised 2020 library budget.
So we do this every year because I present the library budget to you before I present it to the council. We've had the budget workshop, so there have been no changes to what I presented to you, other than we had $14,000 added to our part-time salaries budget so that we can slowly start bringing our library clerks from 25 hours per week or 1,300 hours a year to 28 hours per week. To skip ahead a little bit to the staff report, you may have read in the staff report that we had another 2 library clerks resign.
Yes.
And in talking with, so that means that we've had 4 library clerks resign in the last 2 months. We only have 6 of them. One of them obviously retired. The other 3, one of them got a promotion, but these 2 that have resigned, as well as the ones we've talked to that have resigned over the course of the last probably year and a half. In every situation, it basically boils down to we are asking for a full-time commitment for a part-time job. It's just because we have only 6 people on staff in that department, as well as they're limited to this 25 hours a week, but that does include nights and weekends. What that ends up doing is we end up having to schedule them. They end up being scheduled for 5 days a week. They work nights, they work weekends. They normally work a 5 or 6 hour shift. And so it's a part-time job, but they wouldn't be able to go have another part-time job. And so that tends to be what happens is they leave for a different, more flexible part-time job. So Sarah and I spent a lot of time running the numbers, and we looked at the ASAs, which is the people that work the front desk over at City Hall. And their part-time staff all works 28 hours a week, which just gives a little more flexibility to them because it allows you to work a longer shift. And then so basically we can do the scheduling. So we'll break it into Monday through Thursday, they would have 20 hours to work with. And then Friday and Saturday, they would work an 8-hour shift, either on a Friday or on a Saturday. So that just gives a little more flexibility. So I was happy to see that we added the 2 more. So like I said, we added enough hours for 2 more people to go up, for 2 people to go up to 28 hours. And my plan is over the course of the next months and over the course of the next year, I'd love to see all 6 of them get up to 28 hours a week.
Good.
Anybody have any questions, comments? If not, a motion's in order.
I so move, Karen.
Sharon, I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion of OCPL pandemic plans.
So again, I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit and once again reference the staff report. As I mentioned in an email that I sent out about a week and a half ago, when we had planned to go back to being open at 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock, Monday through Thursday. Unfortunately, like I said, we had 2 other more desk clerks resign. So until we get those positions filled, we're going to keep our reduced hours. So luckily, because we had just filled 2 other positions, we have a really large job pool to choose from. So we have actually already made offers to people to fill those positions. So we're just waiting for all the paperwork to go through. And so hopefully we can go back to expanding the hours the first week of November now, which is November 2nd. The other thing, and again, I mentioned this in the staff report, is that the staff's getting what I will call mask weary. We're struggling with people not wanting to wear their masks or wearing their masks improperly when in the building. And so I know that all of the staff is just getting kind of burned out from constantly asking people to fix their masks or to put their masks on. One of the things that I plan on doing is I'm going to change up, if any of you have been in the library, we have A-frame signs. They're 24 by 36 inch posters. And my plan is to change up those signs to look more like what Target, Meijer. I went to the Milwaukee County Zoo. That's what they had, where right now we have the posters have like kind of our, please limit your visit to 60 minutes. Please wear a mask. It gives all of these different things. And I'm just going to make it say, you must wear a mask. So I'm hoping that just changing up the signs may help a little bit. There's also discussion with the system of making sure that when people get their hold notifications, changing the language in that hold notification to really encourage people to use curbside. And again, with all of the numbers going up, whatever we can do to get people to just use curbside. Maria and the children's department have done a great job. She's been working with Rachel in the adult department. They've retooled our curbside pickup form to try to encourage parents, especially, to put in requests, and then the children's staff will actually do reader's advisory and pick books for people, or if they have homework assignments, we'll get books available and then they can pick them up. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a big push to get people to go back to using curbside, because frankly, that part has really dropped down. And that's about all I have for my pandemic plans.
Okay, then I would like to talk about the Fall Festival. Thanks again to all the board for talking about it and giving me your comments. As I said in my email, we felt we would need extra staff, checking masks, counting people, patrons going in and out, especially if it's cold out or if it's raining. And one other comment from several was, let's not put the staff at risk. It's just not worth it. So the consensus was to close the library, as I mentioned in the email. And I'm very much in favor of that. And Jill Meyer, she was the first one I talked to, and she said, can I think about this? And I said, absolutely. So I didn't get a yes or no from Jill, and that was my fault, Jill. I planned on getting back to you, and that didn't happen. So otherwise, everyone else said that, yes, they wanted to see the library closed that day.
I think that the staff would greatly appreciate that. I think we talked last month about showing the staff appreciation, and they all really, really appreciated the email, Sharon, that you sent out.
Oh, good.
And I think that this would mean a lot to them, frankly.
I think that, that kind of situation, you lose control, and I hate to say control, but the safety factor is such a risk at that point that it's not fair to the patrons, the children, especially your staff. That's just not a wise move, I don't think, if we left it open.
Okay. Jill Meyer, did you have anything that you wanted to add? And again, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you.
Oh, that's fine. No, once I looked into it more, I mean, my main concern, like you already talked about, was the safety of the staff. And then would they have enough people that would be available to control things? So those were really my main concerns. So, I mean, I'm on board with closing down that day as well.
Great. So Jill, what do we have to do here? Do we have to make a motion? Do we have to What?
I don't
What?
think you have to make, I don't think you have to make a motion. I think that Wendy, if you just want to put in the minutes that the board discussed it and made the directive to close that day, I think that would be enough.
Okay.
Can we say unanimously? That make a difference? I don't want them to
I think
think
that would be good.
it
then
was
they'll know.
5-4 and 2 against. I think that's my opinion anyway. Okay, that's.
I agree.
I also like to say thank you, Sharon, for, for bringing this up because the rest of us probably wouldn't even be thinking about that. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And I had a lot of time to think. So that's how it occurred. That's all I have. So back to Jill
All right,
Budget. and
So-
so on.
I don't have a lot for the budget or the revenue updates. Like always, it's the end of the year. It's a little different this year, only because from April to about August, very few publishers actually published any books. And so now we are doing a mass buy of all of the books that are now being published that would have normally been published over the summer. The same with movies. Nothing went to the theater. So there's not a lot of stuff to buy. So we're doing massive buys right now because it wasn't that the staff wasn't trying to develop the collection. They were putting through orders. They just weren't being filled until recently. So that's the big budget update. And then the revenue update, again, if you look at the revenues, you'll see that our fines are way down. What's going to happen is when we get the check from Mickless for our online fine payment, which normally comes in October, there will be a big bounce because of people paying their fines with their credit cards online. And we get that check quarterly. So like if you look at the revenues, you'll see that we took in a lot of fines in May. And
Okay.
because we got that check
Yep.
from Mickless. And so probably either the end of October, beginning of November, we'll get that check again, and there'll be another big bounce.
Good.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I already mentioned it, but a couple of things from the staff report just that I wanted to highlight were our two of our desk clerks resigned. So Kelly is our desk clerk that recently had another baby, and so she's staying home she's going to stay home for a little while with the baby. And then Alicia was another desk clerk, and she actually got a part-time job over at City Hall. So as someone said, it turns out that we've become the AAA league for the City Hall for the City Hall ASA staff, which is fun. I hope that we're doing that means that we must be doing something right, because we're clearly teaching them the customer service skills they need for over. The other thing that I wanted to point out was that one of the things that came from all of the moving programs to virtual and figuring out what we could do is we've decided that we're going to change up how we advertise the programs. And so for the last several years, we've been planning all of our programs 6 months in advance, and we put them all on the Acorn. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us a whole lot of flexibility to make adjustments, when a pandemic hits or when other things happen. And so in talking with all of the librarians, what we're going to try to revert back to is have the Acorn be more generic. We offer story times, we offer computer classes, here's where you go for our events calendar, and then actually put out a monthly events calendar with here's what the programs are. And we think that'll give us a lot more flexibility. So, if the next greatest app comes out, maybe you can throw a program in there about that app. And what we've noticed, we started doing that in July, and our program attendance has gone up tremendously. And we think it's because when people get the Acorn and see the program attendance in, they read it in, let's say, December, and the program's not till March, they either sign up for it and forget about it, or they forget to sign up for it. Where when they see the program and we start advertising it and it starts next week, they sign up and they come. So we're finding that the attendance is really better. So at the end of the staff report, I included the 2 sample calendars and flyers, one for the adult and one for the kids. And then I know I sent this as an email, but just wanted to point out again that Maria did a really cool thing with the Tourism Commission with the story walk that's all around Drexel Square. So I sent the Fox 6 news story, but it's a very cute book. If you have on these beautiful fall days, if you want to take a walk, I encourage you to go check it out. So that's about it.
Lots of good comments.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
all been really well received.
Okay, anything else? Any items for the future agendas?
I just wanted to mention on the revenue report, it looks like in the bottom section, the September number might have an extra digit because it shows $745,000 for the
Yeah, that's
library
right.
accumulated surplus.
Thank you for catching that. I will go back and make sure that gets fixed.
Well, when you were talking about the check from the Mixless, I'm like, well, that does. At first, I thought maybe that's what it was, but I'm like, well, there's no way it's that much.
No.
I did see that, but I thought it was my eye.
No, I clearly entered an extra number in there.
Good catch, Joe.
Thank
Oh,
you.
my.
You're welcome.
I liked it the way it was.
Yeah. If it would be real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Carol, second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, stay well, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
you
Thank
too.
you.
You too. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
You
Bye,
too.
everybody.